Coach D'Amico Ryan's joining us in studio. Coach, congratulations. Great to see you.
Thank you. Great to see you guys.
Let's keep meeting like this, and we'll talk about the Chiefs in a few moments, but let's reflect on what happened against the Chargers. Outstanding effort. I have a theory that the solid week of prep and the positive result against the Titans really set the tone for last week and what you got out of it on Saturday against the Chargers.
It really did. You have to put the work in, right? And that's one thing I don't want our guys to understand. You never shortchange the work. Like we're going to, with the way we work throughout the week has shown up in games throughout our entire season. We have a really good week of work, and we've been on the winning side of things when we go and play games. Or when we've had short weeks, we've had things happen or we had to cut reps and all those things in practice, we don't play as well. So we'll continue to work like that this week. We have a full workload this week, and so hopefully it still translates to a win.
Coach, we're going to talk about your defense a little bit, but we're trying to find a name for CJ dribbling the ball in the backfield and then making play. But that's a huge play. You and I talked about this a little bit. I feel like maybe the bigger play was when he scrambled and he gets up and he flexes and he pounds his chest a little bit because everybody in the sideline got fired up by that. And then when you listen to it on the radio, you could hear the crowd have a response to that. Why do you think that fired everybody up the way that it did when CJ made that scramble and then got up excited?
CJ is the leader of our team, and everybody, when everybody, right or wrong, they're looking to him, right? And so when you see CJ make the scramble, you see him make the play, you see his reaction, I felt it from our entire sideline. I didn't even have to really look at guys. I could just feel the emotion. You could feel like everybody just starts to flex their muscles a little bit, starts to pound their chest because they see, man, that's our leader making a play. We always talk about putting the team on your back. It's like that play right there, put the team on his back, and he let them know, like, I'm here. And at that moment, it was for me, it was like, man, we're in control of this game.
Right. Yeah, Andre Ware likened it to a basketball player that played an X, making a big shot, and then he gets hot. And it seemed like that because the rest of the drive, super hot, got the touchdown to take the lead.
Yeah, it definitely seemed like that. And we started to move the ball more efficiently on offense. We started to move it at will, right? Even though we had some blunders there where we gave the ball up, like we were able to score there. CJ threw a great ball to Nico. He's able to get in the end zone, and just those guys just continue to press forward. That's what I always say. When we don't have negative plays on offense, we have pretty good drives. So it's all about us. If we can eliminate the plays, and most of them are self-inflicted, when we eliminate those, we can be a really good offense.
Coach, in a sudden change situation, the worst thing that happened, get an easy touchdown. Second worst, or maybe one of the best things, holding the field goal, especially when they get the ball on the plus area. I would think the best thing that could happen is you answer a sudden change situation with your own sudden change situation. And there were so many pivotal plays, as we said. But Kamari's pick, right after the pick that CJ threw, how big was that for you guys to not even give a point, not even give a yard? The very next play, he goes and gets the ball. How big was that? Even though it turned into punts and punts going back and forth, but you didn't give up anything and you took the ball back. How big was that at that moment?
You talk about a momentum shifter, right? I mean, the CJ throws the pick, and it's like, I didn't feel any angst or anyone from the sideline guys. Defense goes out there. You can feel very bad about that play. And like the energy that gives the Chargers. But for Kamari to go out, and, I mean, what a spectacular play that he made to him to go up and actually attack the football at the high point, snatch it. It was just like, man, you silence them just like that, right? So that was probably one of the biggest play of the game, right? Because they have the momentum, they can go down. We stopped them on a couple drives, but now, and you feel like, are they gonna kind of break the will? Right. Are we gonna give up a score here? But Kamari, man, he silenced that from the start, and that's big play for us, and we needed it at that moment. Like we needed that play. Could have went a lot of different ways. The game could have went a lot of different ways if Kamari doesn't make that play.
We've talked about this before, but it's a chicken and egg thing with the pressure and the coverage and getting the ball away with the 4 picks. Which is it? It's really both, right? It's everybody working together in that way.
It's always both, right? When a DB is able to make a play on the football, like did the pressure speed the quarterback up, or if we're sticky enough in coverage to make the quarterback hold the ball, are the D linemen, are they executing the right way? Did they take the proper steps to be exactly where they need to be to hit the quarterback? So there was a lot of rush and coverage working together, which was definitely one of our biggest keys to victory is playing discipline and coverage and having discipline rush. First off, not letting Justin get out of the pocket and escape. Thought the D-line did a great job of that. And then when they did get to the quarterback, a lot of times it wasn't, interceptions, but guys were attacking the throwing arm, right? That was very impressive. A lot of incomplete passes were really made by the defensive line because they didn't allow Justin to follow through with his throws.
Coach, from a play calling standpoint, don't give everything away, but is how you call the game, is that kind of a feel thing in a sense that, man, we can't get back there, boy, I want to heat him up a little bit. I need to bring pressure. Because the other day it felt like these guys got the hot hand. I'm just going to let them eat. I'm not going to – it was just 4 going after the quarterback. Do you kind of look at it like that, or do you kind of try and shake things up, or you just – these guys got the hot hand, I'm going with them?
Yeah. I always try to shake it up. Yeah. I always try to shake it up to make sure we don't have just a tail where we're always doing one thing or another. So I always like to mix it up. But when our D line is humming the way they were humming, it makes it a lot easier, right, to call the game because you don't have to be so reliant on pressure to speed the quarterback up. Right. You can just call coverage, right, drop an extra guy back in coverage, and the D line is going to speed him up. So it's a luxury when your D line operates the way they operated this past Saturday, and we need them even more so coming up next week.
And there's some guys who don't get all the publicity. Mario Edwards, here's a player who's been in the league a decade, and he has a sack and a half in a huge playoff game. Part of your rotation on that defensive line.
And Mario has been great all year. Mario is very explosive player on the inside, like a 3 technique. That 3 technique position, we look for quick, explosive players. Mario fits that to the T. Right? And he's made a lot of plays for us, especially in the run game. They tried to wham us, trap us. Mario thought he did a really good job of settling down and stopping some of those run plays. And then when he's one-on-one with a guard or a center, just his quickness and elusiveness, he's able to beat those guys very quickly and get to the quarterback. Not just get to the quarterback, but he's able to finish. So he's had probably one of his most productive years of his career. He's done an outstanding job.
So a guy that we have talked about, but we didn't for a few weeks because he was not with us, and that's Azeez Al-Shaair. We had him in studio last week, and we were just like, we cheer for that guy no matter what he's doing. He could go shop at H-E-B, and we'd be clapping for him. The play he makes on 3rd and 2, because you've got a run blitz on where Henry's going one way, and it looks like, from my angle, it looks like, oh, no, Edwards is running right through an open hole, and Azeez shows up. And not only does he show up, he runs right through a guy that's given us some issue, Gus Edwards, as a running back when he was with Baltimore. How big was that play at the moment? Obviously followed up by Sting's playing 4th down. But the fact that Azeez makes that play at that time with that physicality, how did that charge everybody up? How big a play was that?
Yeah, it charged me up. I don't know about everyone else, but seeing, linebacker do linebacker things, that's like you got to make a big play in the hole. Like you don't hear that much in ball now. Right. Everything is kind of going to coverage, but that's just grown man football. It's run 3rd and 2. They're running the ball downhill, and that's linebacker on running back, one-on-one in the hole. And you have to make the play in the B gap, and Azeez showed up with all the physicality, all the strength that he had to get that stop. Huge play for us, and I think it was such a momentum shift, and they try to go for it. They typically wouldn't go for it there on 4th and 2. They've kicked the field goals in a lot of situations, but I think they felt like, man, we got to make a play here, right? And then Stingley goes and puts the fire out, our best guy versus their best guy in coverage. So it's just 2 back-to-back one-on-one battles that no one else is involved in. Azeez making a play on their back, and then Stingley backs it up with the play on their top receiver.
They had some success running the ball early, but you really clamped down. What changed? Because you look at the end of the day, they didn't do anything on the ground overall, but early there were some runs.
Yeah, the first drive, they had a couple runs on us. This goes back to we had to make some adjustments with our interior defensive linemen, just trying to slow down a little bit, and we were getting whammed and trapped again. The same runs that Baltimore had, same runs that Tennessee ran against us. People will run those run plays versus. So when our D linemen play with great awareness, they're able to recognize the setups and put the fire out. That's when they got to go to something else, right? Yeah. And we can stop those runs and make teams go sideline run the ball to the sideline, I feel like that's when we're more effective as a defense.
Speaking of running the ball, they get the McConkey touchdown. You get to 2 after that, so there still was momentum, but it's 25-12. It's still a ball game. I think there were 10 minutes left. And Mark threw down on me, I said, time and points. If you can cut off a chunk of time and get points, best case scenario. Not only do you do that, you put the nail in the coffin because you go about 7 minutes. Then you score a touchdown. And when you look at the drive, it's run, quarterback sneak, still run. You finished it, I would imagine, the way that you want to in your image. Physical football, downhill football, you pick up 2 4th and 1s along the way. How big was that, Coach, for you and for the offense to finish it that way in this game?
Yeah, we needed that from our offense. We needed that confidence booster for our offense. Like it's a really challenge to the offensive line. Like, hey, we got to go move the football. We got to burn time off of the clock. We're going to run the ball. Yeah. Like, they know we're running it. You know we're running it, but you still got to line up and finish your blocks. Stay attached on your blocks. Strain, give everything you have, all the effort you have to make sure you finish because we, as you mentioned, it's time and points. So we had to grind the clock there, and that's what our guys did. Yeah. Like, they owned the challenge, they accepted it, and they did a really good job. Like, the 4th down conversions were really big for us. CJ getting the sneak. Like, that doesn't happen if the O-line can't move a guy, right? And we need a yard. We got to be able to go get a yard. We were able to do that, and Joe kind of picked up steam. The more carries he got, Kevin felt him just continue to really lean on those guys. A lot of DBs had to tackle him, and you don't want to keep tackling Joe all game. So it was a great job by them of closing it out, and I think it's really big for our entire team to see that when we need to do that, we're capable.
Yep. All right, more fired up. You after the Aziz stop on 3rd and 2, or Frank Ross after the blocked extra point and the return by D'Angelo Ross for 2, because he ran all the way down the field along the sideline.
Oh, yeah, Frank was fired up, man. Seeing Frank run down there was such a huge play. As I mentioned in post-game, I was like so upset about the touchdown that happened. I'm kind of not halfway looking at the PAT. And then I hear the big thump, and we got it, and see Neville just take – I see the kicker that batted the ball down. I see Neville just take him out. I'm like, oh, my goodness. Oh. And I'm like, what was he thinking? Why is he batting it? Then, man, D. Ross just comes out of nowhere, and he's running. Frank is running. I don't know who won that race. Maybe I think Frank may have gotten D. Ross. We got to put a GPS on Frank to see his time.
I mean, the Ross brothers, they were absolutely flying. But it was good to see D'Angelo have that kind of game, coaching. It takes everybody. You talk about this all the time. It takes everybody on game day. And I look at D'Angelo, a guy that is on the roster. He starts at Green Bay. Then he goes to practice squad. He's back up. He's released. He comes back. And he continues to just stay the course and make plays. What does it say about a guy like that, just kind of going through that kind of realm throughout the year? You never know when your opportunity is going to come. But when you get it, take advantage of it. And he seemed to the other day.
D'Angelo is a guy who's always ready. Like, no matter what's asked of him, like the way he works throughout practice, not knowing if he's going to be up on game day or not know if he's starting, or because you never know how the week goes. But D'Angelo is a guy who's always locked in the meetings, can answer any questions you throw at him at multiple positions because we ask him to do so many different things. And then I know he's one of our most reliable guys when it comes to special teams. Like, there's a lot to be said for a guy it's just trustworthy, right? And that's who you want in the game, guys you can trust, especially in those critical moments. Like, you're asking the guy to go block a kick. Well, can you go block the kick, but also stay off the punter and do it in a clean manner? Like, D'Angelo's trusted. He's gained that trust. He's gained the respect, I think, of all his teammates because they know you can count on him at the drop of a dime. Wherever he has to do, whatever he has to do for our team, he's really great example of what it means to be a team player. Like, that's D'Angelo Ross. Doesn't get a lot of credit, a lot of praise, but, man, he showed up big time for us, blocking a punt and also returning a 2-point conversion. That was a big time play for. Happy to see D. Ross get that recognition that he deserves.
What's it like to play the Chiefs less than a month after you played the Chiefs? So it feels like a division game in that way. Obviously, it's a huge game, divisional playoff game, but you've seen them recently, so that's got to help a lot.
I hope it helps being able to see them, but it's also, I just go in with a fresh set of eyes as I watch them again, just not putting too much on what happened in the first game. And we'll have different guys out there. They'll have all their players out. They've been resting, right, since the last time we played them. So it'll be just, I look at it like this will be the first time we're playing them.
Okay.
Right. And so I go in that way just to make sure we got all the I's dotted, all the T's crossed to make sure, we're locked in for whatever they can throw at us.
Does it kind of help, though, that you were recently at the stadium and the whole infrastructure of things, that you know the lay of the land, so to speak?
The environment piece, I think it plays a part where our players, they're not going into a place that they haven't been before. Right? They understand the environment, they understand the weather. Like, you've been there, you know the hotel we stayed in, all those things that are kind of new. Like, okay, we were just here a month ago. All that stuff doesn't matter. Like, can we go out and still, with the game plan, can we go out and execute in the critical moments? Like, the game will still come down to, right, executing on third down and in a red zone. Like, can we own those moments? If we own those moments, we'll have a chance to win the game.
Coach, playing on this stage, divisional playoff stage, I mean, it's still a young team. Last year, we had a bunch of young guys that never played in the divisional playoff round. They get through that experience against Baltimore. Obviously, it didn't go the way we wanted to. Do you think that experience helps playing at that level against this team, the defending champs in their building, kind of us against the world mentality? Does that kind of give you the experience of last year help in any way, you think?
I hope our guys have learned a lot about, first off, you have that letdown. You feel, you know what it feels like to not get it done at this moment and how close you are, right? So I hope that kind of spurs our guys to understand, like, man, the heightened importance of what it takes to really own the moment. Right. This is our moment here right now. Like, how do you go own the moment and to make sure that we continue to get more time together as a team? Like, understand from last year where we had mishaps and it didn't quite go our way. Like, what are we going to do about it? What did you learn from that? And how can you be better this time around?
What's practice like this time of year? And this time you do have a full football week to get ready Saturday to Saturday for this particular game. But I ask you this sometimes in November. Are you dialing things down in practice? How are you handling the intensity? What do you do in January, Coach?
Yeah, been going at it for a while, but I still – it has to be a normal week for me, normal work week. And because of our guys and just how we've responded throughout the weeks, just seeing our guys and, you learn throughout the season of how this team is in 2025 now. You learn about what I've learned about our team is when we have a solid week of work and we really put the work in through all 3 days, and our guys are locked in, intentional, deliberate throughout the week, it shows up on game day. So I'm excited to get a full week. We get all of our reps in. We can get true work in so our guys can go out and we know we did everything we could absolutely do in preparation to be ready for the battle on Saturday.
It is Patrick Mahomes. I know you know that. And it is a guy that you faced a little bit. How much do you think that helps your D-line coach when you rush a guy that's as unique as Patrick? Because – with Josh and Lamar, they can move out of the pocket. They can run and do those things, and you've got to be very disciplined about the rush. Patrick's a whole different level, seemingly, as you would rush him and the discipline it takes to go after him. How big a challenge is he just because he's different from the other guys in the way that he escapes the pocket and the things he can do?
Yeah, he is different in the fact that he loves to escape up through the B gap, like through the inside, and that's where he hurts you the most. You don't think of Patrick as this big time runner and like Lamar or Josh, but he does it in a more effective way because when he escapes, like he's gaining yards right now because he escapes up through the pocket. So it's going to take, elite awareness and focus from our D line. They have to understand that B gap escape is there. So whether you're in, we cannot get upfield. Like he's going to set short in the pocket, escape. So we have to close out those interior gaps.
Absolutely.
Right? He got us last game. He got us just on a huge run up in the red zone. He escaped through the B gap, huge run to convert that allowed them to score points.
What about CJ running? We talked about the big run, the 27-yarder, and getting all pumped up earlier in the conversation. But as a whole, I know you want to see him protect himself, but it's so effective when he can take off and run with it from time to time.
Yeah, CJ, and he's done a great job of that. I think this past game of when it's not there, you get him pressured and you have the ability to step up and make plays. It's similar to how we're speaking about Patrick. Not that you're always looking to run, but if the escape lane is there and you can do it, like, man, that's a huge play. Any way you can make a huge play, gain yardage on a defense, and you can kind of slow down the threat of their pressures and those things. Just when the quarterback runs, it slows everyone's down on the defensive side, just having the threat of run, right? You have to be aware of it. And you see all the quarterbacks, I think, that are left that we're talking, all the quarterbacks on all the teams have that escapability. And CJ has it as well. You saw it, I mean, going back to his college days, his last game versus Georgia, right? When he started to break contain, he started to run. That really opened up a lot for their offense in that game. So, tell CJ whatever you have to do to make plays, just understand, just like he was, beating his chest, like understand I think the energy and the enthusiasm that it gives our entire sideline when he does make those plays.
Okay, if you were coaching a game and you went back to the benches to talk to a particular player and you looked up and you saw a player reading a book on the sideline, what would you think?
What's wrong with this guy? No. First off, where did the book come from?
Yeah. How did it get out there?
How did it get out here? Like that would be my first thought is how did you get a book and what are you reading?
Team introductions, you're carrying it.
What are you reading about? Yeah,
A.J. Brown apparently carries a book to the sideline for every game.
Really?
And he has a passage that he reads, and the cameras caught him on the sideline with this book. And I've been at sidelines almost my whole life, Coach. I don't know that I've ever seen a player with a book.
Never seen that, but AJ, whatever keeps you grounded, man, keep doing it. I guess it's working for him.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's our Amegy Bank Ask Coach question of the week.
It is.
And Coach, one more thing. Speaking of getting your mind right and all that, the music you guys play in the locker room, we hear some gospel or something on the way in, right? And it's early. It's well before the game. But it seems like that kind of gets the guys in a really great frame of mind. It's a collective thing at that point.
Yeah, they start out with a lot of gospel music. I hear it coming in, and it's I think it's just to recenter ground guys as well. Then they start blasting some other stuff. I'm like, can we keep the gospel music going throughout? No, but that music, it provides energy to a lot of guys, and I'm thankful for our guys that they do have gospel music. You don't hear that much, probably in a lot of locker rooms, but for our guys to have that awareness of, hey, what keeps us all going, what keeps us grounded, keeping the main thing. I'm proud of our guys for having the gospel music playing.
Absolutely. Coach, thanks a lot. Good luck.
Thank you.